There are infinite different ways that you can grow your PMU business. But the truth is, if you want to 10x your business, there's only one way to do it: putting the right systems in place so that your business can grow whilst you just focus on being an artist. So in this video, I'm going to be revealing the single proven shift that I've used to scale PMU artists to six figures, and that I think every PMU artist has to take to 10x their business. So let's start off with the false belief that's holding you back right now from scaling. So if you're like most PMU artists I speak to, then you might believe that word of mouth is enough to grow your PMU business. Because I guess that's how most PMU artists start. You do great work, your clients refer others, and then for a good while it just works. But the truth is that word of mouth isn't a growth strategy. So what I mean by that is that word of mouth is like it is waiting for someone to tell their friend about you. But that might happen, but you have no control over when or how often. So it's basically running a business on luck instead of strategy. So you can't really scale luck. So you can't just decide to 10x your referrals to get 10x more clients. And worst of all, when bookings do slow down, which does happen, then there's nothing that you can do to like turn things around because you're just waiting for those referrals to come in again. So for example, and this is like a little story here. So when I was like 16 or so, I used to cycle to my boxing club like every like 3 times a week, I think. And then inside the parking lot there was this car wash. And every time I went past there, I could see some cars waiting to be washed. Some months there were a few less, but some months a bit more. But I never really exceeded like a couple of cars a day. And so the car wash was obviously relying on word of mouth to get new customers and people just spreading the word about it being there. So that was really preventing its growth. They couldn't just decide to grow and just take on more customers just because only their customers could decide to refer them to like more of their friends. But the actual car wash, they couldn't just decide to get more customers just because they were relying on word of mouth. So eventually, one time it was like a couple months later, then a cycle passed, and I guess they must have had like a dry spell or something, but they had shut down because their referrals had just dried up. So that's also the risk of relying on word of mouth, that eventually your customers are going to run out of people to refer you to, and because you're just like fishing from that same pond of like customers and their social group, then eventually you're going to fish all the fish out, and then it's just going to run out, and it's going to dry up. So basically you need something better. You need something you can control and something you can actually use to scale and grow. So if you do want to 10x your PMU business, then what you really need is a scalable system, like a system that brings in more clients, more revenue, just on demand and on autopilot. So even whilst you sleep. But let's talk about how to actually implement that. So the number one way to building a scalable marketing system is using paid ads, so Google ads, but obviously done right. So when set up properly, and that's the key here, properly, Google ads will become like your number one asset in your business. And that's just because compared to word of mouth, which is unscalable, like I said before, eventually dries up. You have no control over when you actually get clients. You obviously have slow months, roller coaster months really. And then you need to be constantly working to get new clients, because if you're not working to do new treatments and you're not getting new referrals, which means you're not getting new clients, and basically you're just gonna have to hope you can live off touch-ups, which obviously you can't. So then compared to Google Ads, which is a scalable system, then obviously you can grow on demand just because you can increase ad budget to get more results, and you can just do that whenever you want. So basically you can just increase clients for as much as you like. And then it's evergreen just because there's a set amount of people searching up for your services every single month, and you can expect that they'll be searching for that every single month, so it doesn't dry up in that sense. And then you get consistent new clients, so that's also like predictable as to like how many clients you'll get every single month. And then you can get clients even whilst you sleep, so you don't have to be constantly working. You can take like a holiday and still know that you're going to get clients and have bookings when you come back. So in terms of how Google Ads actually work, if you're still not quite sure, then basically imagine someone is sitting at home and decides, I really want to get my eyebrows done. I want to get permanent makeup. So they go to Google, they take out their phone and they type in microblading artist in your city. So if you're running Google Ads, your name's going to show up right at the top when someone's already looking to buy, and they're already looking to book. So basically you're going to set up Google Ads once, and then they're just going to run in the background for basically as long as you like to get you clients even whilst you sleep. So in terms of results, so my clients usually see returns from 4 to 7x by running Google Ads and about 10 to 20 new clients each month. Obviously, you can scale up that as much as you want in terms of how many clients you're actually going to get, especially if you're in a larger area. Obviously, there's more people searching for your services, and obviously you can get more clients that way. But in terms of how to actually run Google Ads, so this is one of my highest performing ads. So I've broken it down for you on the right here, so you can screenshot this and obviously use it to run Google Ads. So in terms of the headline, you can use something like this, and then in the description, you can just fit in the square brackets with like your own demographic, your own location. So in terms of demographic, for example, if you serve clients that are mainly like 45 plus, and you can focus on like mature skin or like mature women in your area. But maybe if you focus mainly on, you get more like Asian clients or more like Hispanic women, then you can also focus on that. And then location, obviously that's self-explanatory. But yeah, that's a description there. And then you can also watch my video that goes more in depth and shows you step by step on how to actually set up Google Ads, from setting up the account to getting your first booking from it. And that will come up basically straight after this video, and it will also be linked in the description below. So you can check that out after this and take action on what I've showed you. But yeah, I encourage you to do that. And yeah, thanks for watching.